Hi y'all, my name is Todd Wilkes. I am doing a presentation on the Texas Department of Transportation. I am going to go over a couple of things, get you really interested in this and give you kind of some insight into the operations and what TxDoT does. There's a lot of stuff that was good information and news to me. So the outline for this is we're going to be going over the history, divisions, the purposes, costs, safety, the Texas use, summary, test your knowledge and references. Y'all won't care about the references, but so the test your knowledge stuff, there's going to be 2 questions at the end. I have kind of highlighted the things in red that are going to be important, so just pay attention for those. So a little bit of history on TxDoT. This was actually very informative for me. I'm sure it will be to you too. So it actually began as the Texas Highway Department, formed in 1916, so a very long time ago. That was pretty much when cars were just becoming really big. So then in 1975, it merged with the Texas Mass Transportation Commission. So then it became the State Department of Highways and Public Transportation. So it's kind of doing a second creation, like merger type thing right there. But what was really interesting to me, because I had always assumed that TxDoT was just TxDoT. It had been the Department of Transportation since, I don't know, 50, 60 years, whatever, but TxDoT wasn't actually officially formed until 1991, which to me seems pretty new or recent considering how long Texas has been around and how long roads have been around. So I was wondering, what was it before then? And it was just interesting to see that it was the State Department of Highways and Public Transportation, and it kind of merged in. So to go over the divisions, there is 34 total divisions in TxDoT, and that is also very, very interesting to me because I had no clue that they covered so many aspects of Texas's transportation in every manner. So for instance, like the aviation division of TxDoT, they help maintain airports and runways, and they also have their own little fleet of commercial airplanes that they use to take, government officials and stuff like that to go do their civic duties. Bridge construction, that's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, construction is a big part of these. And so I kind of took out the ones that seemed like they were the most relevant and most interesting. There's obviously a lot more that you can go and look up on the TxDoT website. But so like maritime is another one that was really interesting to me because basically they help work with the waterways and in the Gulf and stuff like that to get transportation flowing up and down the rivers in Texas to help facilitate the economic growth of Texas. Rail was another big one. They help maintain the railways and also, interestingly enough, that they keep track of all of the rails that are going out of commission, like that they're getting decommissioned, those railways, and they just monitor those. And also have a big part in the the light rail system that is scheduled to be put in between Houston and Dallas. That's a multi-billion-dollar high-speed rail system, and TxDoT is playing a big part in that. And so the toll operations also, that's kind of self-explanatory, but they keep regulating the tolls that get collected on state highways, state toll road highways. So the purpose of TxDoT, so the TxDoT mission is through collaboration and leadership, we'll deliver a safe, reliable, and integrated transportation system that enables the movement of people and goods. So TxDoT is responsible for the construction and maintenance of nearly 80,000 centerline miles of roadway spread out through Texas's 25 districts. So Texas is kind of cut up into 25 districts, and the size of those districts is related to kind of the population. So kind of out in West Texas, those districts are really big, and in Eastern Texas and around the cities, those districts are a lot smaller. But there's 25 total in Texas, and so they have a lot of roadways that they have to maintain and construct. So speaking of construction, this was an eye-opener, the number of dollars that TxDoT is working with. So this is the State Highway Fund receipts. You can see just in this one that they're working with 15 billion and they're dispersing 11, almost 12. So just in this fund alone, and there's multiple funds that work on separate kinds of projects, but each one of them is multi-billion-dollar budgets. So this one alone is like a $3.2 billion surplus. And if you look, that these numbers are like just amazing. So they spent $4 billion just on maintenance, another $2.3 billion on new building. But so the total assets that they had last fiscal year was $133 billion, and that is insane. I never would have imagined that much money was going to Texas or to TxDoT for the state of Texas. Assets doesn't mean that that's how much money they're working with, but still, when I was doing this research, I believe it was around 86 billion in taxpayer dollars annually that they were receiving. So with that number, that 86 billion, that actually is more money than the GDP of the pretty much like the smallest 100 countries in the world. So more than 100 countries. TxDoT alone has more money than the GDP of 100 countries. So this is kind of a rates chart of kind of like the unit pricing thing that we had talked about in class. So this is the estimated project cost for these things, and you can see that the units are in like square yards, cubic yards, tons for stuff like asphalt, prime coat, which is like this spray, like tar, pretty much. That gets measured by gallons, and how you can see that the 100 items and 200 items, 300, that's kind of like a secondary like place marker when you're having these like primary like items. So for instance, like if you were to say like flex base. So flex base, according to this line item, would be like 11. But if you had a different kind of flex base, you could have, you know, flex base 11, 200, 201, and, you know, another kind of base material, like B material or C material, it would be like 11, 202 and 11, 203. So that is how these 200 items, when if you see a line item sheet of how these heavy civil companies are paying their bills, this is it. And there's tons and tons of line items. So safety is another really big concern for TxDOT. Obviously, it is for any large organization. You have to be concerned with safety, and it's not just the safety of construction workers, it's the safety of citizens that are driving on these roads that are built with taxpayer dollars. So some of the examples that TxDOT is doing to adhere to safety and promote safety is their creation and use of rest areas all over the state of Texas. They also are adhering to the OSHA guidelines, just like with anybody else, any other big company, making their employees have physicals. That's kind of common practice, making sure nobody's testing for drugs or alcohol and stuff like that. And then road conditions reporting, that is where any citizen can call up and say, hey, there's a giant pothole, there's you know, a giant thing in the road or something that is causing a safety concern on Texas roadways. They can call a hotline and get that that reported and get a TxDOT official out there to fix the problem or start the process of getting it fixed. So this next slide is Texas use, which for my presentation for TxDOT is pretty self-explanatory. So TxDOT obviously is only responsible to the state of Texas and its citizens and taxpayers. It does not go outside of Texas to perform any duties. That is in its name. Texas Department of Transportation, it's only used in Texas, but it does work with many companies that aren't based out of Texas, specifically like for construction projects and things like that. So in summary, we talked about the history, when TxDOT was created and when those different mergers happened, getting us up to the point where TxDOT is now what it is now. Then the divisions, we talked about the 34 divisions that make up all the inner workings of TxDOT and all the areas that they cover. Purposes of TxDOT, their mission statement and what they strive for and who they work for, which is us, taxpayers. The costs that are associated with TxDOT, which are huge, huge numbers. Those are just astronomical. It was mind-blowing seeing those numbers. Safety was a big topic, as it is for any company, any organization. Safety has to be number one. You got to abide by the OSHA rules. You have to have plans in place. You have to have like employee physicals, making sure everybody is abiding by the rules and keeping everybody safe. And the Texas use, again, that was kind of self-explanatory. It's TxDOT, it's only used, takes place in Texas. So for the test your knowledge, I'm gonna ask you two pretty simple questions on this stuff. And you can always go back and look at this. It's outlined in red. So for the test your knowledge, the question is, what year was TxDoT formed? As TxDoT, not as when it very first originally started. And the second question is, how many divisions are there in all of TxDoT? And again, those are in red. Just go back and you can see them. So for anybody who is interested in the references where I got my information, got everything from TxDoT website, and also some of the history stuff I got from the TxDoT Wikipedia page. The rest of this stuff is links for the pictures. If y'all have any questions, please reach out to me. You can email me. My email is thw17@texasstate.edu. And I appreciate y'all listening to my presentation, and good luck on these very difficult questions. And look forward to seeing y'all in class. Thanks.